So there he is, Mason, sitting cross-legged on his bedroom floor in Burbank, filming a video about why pickleball's the most aggressive sport on Earth. He's mid-rant, halfway through a joke about visors. And then his phone buzzes, and it just keeps buzzing. Hundreds of notifications, thousands. Mason peels off his headphones. The world has gone quiet in a way that's not quite right. Outside, he can hear a car idling, then a crash, then nothing. You all know that version of the apocalypse where it's loud, fireballs, screaming, that one guy in the trailer running with a suitcase. This isn't that one. Everyone, everywhere, has just fallen asleep. They're not dead. They're breathing. They just won't wake up. And here's the part we're really here for today. Mason has 11,000 subscribers. He is, by every reasonable measure, a small creator. Nobody. But over the next few weeks, he is about to become, and I mean this seriously, the most watched YouTuber on the planet. Because there's nobody else uploading. And somehow, the platform still works. Wait. Hold up. That last part should be the weirdest thing you've heard so far. How is YouTube still up, if everyone's asleep? Glad you asked. The truth is, the internet runs on autopilot way more than we give it credit for. Google's data centers, the actual concrete buildings full of humming servers, are designed to run with almost no human input for long stretches. Redundant power, automated cooling, self-healing networks. If every engineer stopped showing up to work tomorrow, those servers would just keep humming for weeks, maybe months. The grid is the bigger problem, but a lot of data centers have their own generators, plus battery banks, plus solar tie-ins for the green ones. Some estimates put the internet's runway, on its own, at 6 months to a year before things really start breaking down. So for now, Mason has Wi-Fi. He has a charged camera. He has the entire history of human content available at the click of a button. And he has nobody else competing for the algorithm's attention. What would you do? For the first week, Mason doesn't film anything. He drives around LA. He sits in the middle of the 101 just because he can. He eats a lot of cold lobster from a Whole Foods that's already starting to smell weird. Standard end-of-the-world starter pack. But then loneliness kicks in. And not regular loneliness. Apocalypse loneliness. There's something specifically brutal about being lonely when you actually know there's nobody else. No barista to small talk with. No stranger on the subway. Nobody to nod at in passing. It's the kind of quiet that gets inside your ribcage. And Mason, being a YouTuber, does what YouTubers do. He picks up the camera. He opens his mouth. He starts talking. His first upload is titled, "I Think I Might Be the Last Person on Earth." 6 minutes long. He cries twice. His thumbnail is just his own face, because he doesn't have anyone to point at with a shocked expression. He hits publish. And here's where it gets genuinely weird. The video gets views. Not many, but more than 0. Which is, mathematically, the most haunting number on planet Earth right now. Now look, before you spiral, most of those views are almost certainly bots. The internet, even now, is somewhere around half-automated traffic, depending on who you ask. Crawlers, scrapers, indexing bots, AI training agents, click farms whose human operators are currently snoring face down on their keyboards. These things don't sleep. They don't know the apocalypse happened. They are doing exactly what they were programmed to do, refreshing pages and clicking links into eternity. So Mason's view counter ticks up. The video gets indexed. The algorithm, which remember is just a giant math problem nobody bothered to turn off, decides this new content is worth surfacing. It serves the video to other bots who watch a portion of it, which boosts engagement, which serves it to more bots, and so on. Mason becomes the first creator in history to go viral with literally zero human audience. That's also kind of the saddest sentence I've ever written, but moving on. Now, if you've ever read anything about parasocial relationships, you know, the way people feel close to creators they've never actually met. Mason's situation is sort of the dark mirror version of that. Normally, you've got one person on camera and millions of strangers in their bedrooms feeling like they're friends with them. Mason has it flipped. He's the one in the bedroom. The audience is a number on a dashboard. And he starts to feel close to them anyway. He reads the comments. There aren't many. Most are spam from before the event. First, great vid bro. That kind of thing. But he reads them like they're handwritten letters. He responds to everyone. He hearts all of them. He starts recognizing usernames. There's one guy, Mr. Toaster Fan 2009, whose 3-year-old comment Mason has now reread approximately 400 times. This isn't healthy. Mason knows it isn't healthy. But, what else is he going to do? This actually reminds me of a guy named Christopher Knight. You might have heard of him as the North Pond Hermit. In 1986, this 20-year-old just walked into the woods of Maine one day and didn't come out for 27 years. 27 years. He survived by stealing food from nearby cabins, never lit a fire because he didn't want the smoke giving him away, and he spoke to exactly one human being in all that time, a hiker he passed on a trail to whom he said, and I quote, "Hi." When they finally caught him in 2013, the researchers and psychologists who interviewed him found something kind of beautiful and kind of horrifying. He hadn't gone insane. His mind was sharp. But the part of him that wanted human contact had basically gone dormant. Like a muscle that atrophies when you don't use it. Mason doesn't have that luxury. He still wants people. He keeps uploading. And he starts to develop a theory. His theory is this. Someone, somewhere, has to still be awake, right? The odds of a global sleep event being 100% effective across 8 billion people with no exceptions has to be approximately 0. There has to be a guy in a submarine, a scientist in Antarctica, a kid in a medically induced coma who, ironically, was already not going to wake up and therefore was somehow spared. So Mason starts making videos for them, the hypothetical survivors. He titles them like flares fired into the night. If you're out there, watch this. Hey, I'm in Burbank. Please come find me. I have food. I have 2 dogs. The dogs are okay. Please. He puts GPS coordinates in every description. He streams from rooftops. He teaches himself drone shots. And here's the irony. His production value becomes incredible. Because he has nothing else to do, and he's pulling from the best tutorials on the platform, which is now functionally his entire personal library. Mason becomes, in this strange roundabout way, the YouTuber he always wanted to be. Top-tier editing, cinematic thumbnails, killer pacing, audience of 0. And this is the part I keep getting stuck on. Because it raises a question that I think is genuinely interesting, even outside the whole apocalypse thought experiment thing. If a creator uploads to an empty internet, are they still a creator? You know the Voyager golden record? That gold-plated disc NASA strapped to the Voyager spacecraft in 1977. It's got 116 images on it, greetings in 55 languages, music from Chuck Berry to Beethoven. We launched it knowing, statistically, nobody is ever going to find it. The nearest star Voyager will come close to is something like 40,000 years from now. And we made it anyway. We packed up the best of humanity and chucked it into the void on the off chance that something, someday, somewhere, might be listening. That's what Mason's doing. He's making the Voyager record, one upload at a time. And maybe that's actually the whole point of making anything. You never really know who's watching. You never really did. You just put it out there because the alternative, putting nothing out there at all, is somehow worse. So, does Mason ever find another person? Honestly, in the version of the story I keep writing in my head, he does. About 14 months in. A woman named Priya who was deep in a sensory deprivation tank when the event hit, and woke up to a very confusing voicemail from her sister. She finds his coordinates. She drives across the country with a golden retriever in the passenger seat. They meet on a rooftop in Burbank at sunset. It's cinematic. The dogs get along. But I think the more honest version, the one that's probably actually true, is that he doesn't. That Mason just keeps uploading alone until the servers finally fail. That his last video is him, gray-haired, sitting in the same spot he started in, looking into the lens, saying thank you to nobody in particular. Because here's the thing, and this is what's been rattling around my head this whole time. Mason isn't really the last human on YouTube. Mason is just us, on a faster timeline. Every single one of us is uploading into a void we can't fully see. We're all hoping that somewhere out there, somebody is listening. And the wild part is, somehow, usually, someone is.